Our next story is the hum in the parking lot. When you listen to this story, you will not dare to enter the parking lot alone. Are you ready to listen? Before moving on to our story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our story. Late one evening, Alex parked his car in the underground lot of his apartment complex. He had used this garage countless times, but that night felt different. The moment he turned off his car, a strange, low hum drifted through the silence, seeming to come from deep within the concrete maze of the parking structure. Curious and unnerved, Alex glanced around, his gaze sweeping over rows of parked cars and shadowy pillars. The sound was barely noticeable at first, more like a vibration in the air than a real noise. But as he listened closer, the hum grew louder, carrying an eerie quality that made the hairs on his neck stand on end. Over the next few days, residents began to speak of the hum. Most heard it only late at night, just past midnight. Some dismissed it as an issue with the building's ventilation, while others believed it to be machinery from the nearby subway line. However, a handful of tenants, including Alex, began to feel that something far stranger was behind the noise. Then came the night when the hum transformed. At precisely 3 a.m., it turned into a low, desperate moan, echoing through the garage in chilling waves. Alex, along with a few neighbors who had also been woken by the sound, ventured down to investigate. They gathered near the entrance, hesitant but determined, gripping flashlights and cell phones tightly. Each step echoed in the eerie quiet as they descended into the darkened garage. They followed the sound through the narrow pathways between parked cars until they reached a far corner of the structure. There, the hum was at its loudest, vibrating through the concrete walls with an almost supernatural intensity. Suddenly, the hum ceased, plunging the area into a silence so thick it felt like they were holding their breath. As they stood there, a loud crash echoed from deeper within the parking lot. Panicking, one of the neighbors suggested calling the police. Alex agreed, pulling out his phone with shaky hands. Within minutes, two police officers arrived, joining the group as they explained the strange occurrences. The officers cautiously led the way to the source of the noise. As they neared the spot, the hum returned, louder than before, filling the air with an otherworldly resonance that seemed to vibrate through their very bones. The officers called for backup, requesting a full search of the premises. Moments later, fire trucks and more police cars arrived. The garage was now swarming with officials, their flashlights cutting through the darkness as they searched every corner. But as they probed deeper, the strange hum grew louder, fluctuating with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. Then, one of the officers stumbled upon something chilling a wall in the garage that had been crudely patched over. He signaled the others, and within minutes, they had tools in hand, prying the wall open. As they broke through, a thick, stale air seeped out, along with the unmistakable scent of decay. Inside the wall cavity, they discovered what looked like the remnants of a small room. Littered with decayed belongings and rusted personal items, the space told a silent, sorrowful story. And in the corner of this hidden chamber, they found a crumbling, dust-covered journal. The handwriting within was faded but legible enough to tell a haunting story of someone who had been trapped here long ago, isolated from the world. As the team read through the journal, the hum began to shift, transforming from a simple sound into a voice, a desperate, pleading whisper that sent chills down everyone's spine. The words were barely understandable, but one thing was clear. The spirit trapped within this hidden room was still seeking release. Terrified, the group hurriedly exited the hidden room, leaving the journal behind. But as they moved away, the hum followed them, a relentless, angry echo that seemed to haunt every step. Some of the neighbors were so unsettled that they decided to leave the apartment complex for good, unable to bear the thought of staying in a place tainted by such darkness. Days later, the authorities closed off the garage entirely, declaring it unsafe. But even from outside, residents reported hearing the hum, especially on nights when the wind was still. Those who knew the story spoke of a restless spirit whose cries would forever haunt the underground maze, warning anyone who ventured too deep. Alex, who had initially dismissed the hum as just a strange noise, could no longer ignore the fear that had embedded itself in his mind. The last time he passed by the building, he heard it again, a faint, sorrowful moan that carried through the night. And he couldn't shake the feeling that whatever lay beneath the concrete was far from at rest.